It has been a month, but finally we at least have somewhat of an idea of what the next Tasmanian Parliament will look like. So we've known these numbers we've known them for a good while. Annoyingly, my last video predicting the outcome of the no confidence vote, that was wrong because I learnt literally about 15 minutes after I uploaded it that George Razay had won the last seat in Bass, but that's not important. What is important now is working out how the no confidence motion is going to go. Now already the Greens have said that they will not support it, so that gets the against the no confidence motion, that's at least 19, and then with Christy Johnson also opposing it, that's 20. So that is not amazing. But the question is, so we know who the government is, but is it going to be stable? And my answer to that question is absolutely not. I think by this point Tasmanians have given up any hope whatsoever of ever having a stable government, because with the Hare Clark system, the way it is, this is just going to keep on happening. But the question is, will Dean Winter also make the move to try and form government? Because we saw he did try, in fairness to him, he did try, but he just didn't get anywhere. He wasn't proactive at all in working with the crossbench, and I don't know if it's the Sloan Zone or the Sloan Zone, whoever it is, he made a fantastic video detailing faults. I don't want to say faults, but criticisms of Dean Winter, which I think are very valid, and I'm going to link that video probably up here and in the description, so go watch that if you want more in depth. But this is not going to be a stable government. Jeremy Rockcliffe is open to working with the Greens, clearly, but I just don't think that's going to work long term. The Greens are always going to be closest to Labor, and the precedent that sets, the Greens' whole model is that they are closer to Labor than the Liberals. So them skipping Labor and working with the Greens, that's going to, I think, anger a lot of Green supporters. And the Liberals working with the Greens, a lot of Liberals are very anti-Greens. We saw at the federal election that there was the big campaign against the Greens by the Liberals, so the fact that they're working with them, that cannot go down well with Tasmanian people. So at the moment, I'm going to do what I did last time, and I'm going to break down the crossbenchers as who they would support. So Craig Garland has, at least before, during the negotiations, he said he'd support Labor. I know that's Liberal. I don't know about George Razay. I don't know which way he leans. That's Liberal there. Carlo DeFalco of the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers. He hasn't officially lent out a policy, but given his party's image of being, for the country folk, I can't imagine he'd back Labor. Christy Johnson's backing the Liberals, and so are the Greens. Hang on. Well, I've made a mistake here. There are two Greens and one Independent, not the other way around. And then in Franklin, okay. I was working in Franklin. I'm getting mixed up here. Sorry about this, everyone. It's probably all very, very confusing. And Kirsty Johnson's backing the Liberals. So currently, this looks like a stable government, but it really isn't, because any wrong move from Jeremy Rockcliffe that angers the Greens, then that's gone. That is gone, and then the Greens are just all going to be separate again. And the Greens are going to be all separate again. And then if Dean Winter or some other Labor leader, because I would describe myself as a Labor supporter, and I think Dean Winter has been ridiculously weak in not working with the crossbench at all. But that's besides the point. If it's whoever is leading Labor, if Liberals do something to anger them, and they have the support of the Greens and possibly some of the crossbench, well then they can form government. I'm going to go through this again. Okay. So there's no Greens in Braddon. I keep clicking on Braddon for some reason and I cannot do that. So as we're seeing here, Labor can win. It is very doable. Like, if they work with the Greens, they can get into a very strong position. Like, it can be 16 to 14 if they work with the Greens. And that's not even, including Craig Garland too. And that's not even factoring in some of the other independents. David O'Byrne, he was the Labor leader. Peter George, I don't think he would back the Liberals. But that being said, I also didn't think the Greens would, so I'm just going to leave him as still independent. Choosing Fishers, he said he's open to negotiating. I think he'd rather back the Liberals, but he could theoretically back Labor. And then in Bass, George Razay, he is a doctor, and part of Labor's campaign specifically targeted health. It is very doable. By working with independents, it's going to be probably going to be an even more chaotic government, or equally just as much than the Liberals, but it is doable. I'm sorry this is just turning into a rant. I know it is, and this probably isn't very interesting, but it's doable. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, looking towards next election, I think this is going to have massive ramifications. But the question is which way? Because the Labor is going to cop some flack for not being collaborative. But at the same time, the Liberals are working with the Greens, so I think they're both going to go, and there's only so much of the vote that can go to independents. So, my honest prediction for the next Tasmanian election is I have no idea. The next one's probably going to be even more of a mess than this one. And this one, I'm recording this on August 19th. The election was 1 month ago. 1 month ago. And it's just, oh boy. I don't even know what to say. Well, I guess that concludes this quick video / rant. For more in-depth points, I'll leave that other video in the description. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, and thank you.